There we go.
There we go. I'm sorry about that. Can you everyone hear me?
Oh, there's still someone.
There's still, hold on. Let's see.
There's too many. There's too many to mute.
Yes, here we go. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Hello. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk yet, huh? You're supposed to introduce me. I'm not talking.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, everyone. I'm sorry about that. My computer shut down right before we were about to start, so that was okay.
Request a printer location, India. Right.
We can still hear people, right?
Yeah, we can totally still hear people.
Okay, there we go. I think we got it now. All right, everyone, good afternoon. My name is Melinda Schneider. I will be your moderator for this session. I'm here to support both you and the presenter. So if you have any questions or need help with the Zoom interface, you can use the chat icon at the bottom and find my name, Melinda Schneider, and send me a direct message. I will do my best to help you resolve your concern. If you'd like to connect with us on social media, the hashtag is IEGoogleCamp, and you can connect with us on Twitter or Instagram. Again, if you need help, you can private message me, and if you need help with SCED, you can go into the SCED, and there's a help link right there. And so the title of this session is Keeping It All Organized with Hyperdocs, and here is your presenter, Anne Rizzacasa. Did I say that right?
It's a fun name. Yes, that's it. Cool. Okay, let me set up my screen share. Yes. And this one, and share, and present. Voila, does everyone see it? Is it working? Yes, beautiful. Yes. Okay, so keeping it all organized with Hyperdocs. So just like I've seen with all the other presentations, and I'm gonna do it too, let's start with the Mentimeter. The code is right there for you, and I have 2 questions for you guys, just as a getting to know the audience type of dealio. The 2 questions are, provide 1 word for how you are feeling about the next school year. Some of you guys know what your plans are. Some of you are still in the dark. I feel like I'm in the partial gray zone right now. So I kind of know what I'm doing and kind of don't at the same time. So let me hear 1 word, which is going to be really hard to embody that into 1 word. And then the other question is, what is your comfort level with Hyperdocs? Is it, I am uncomfortable, you're super uncomfortable, like hyper what? I just heard about this, cool, now I'm listening to you type of deal. Is it somewhat comfortable? I've used Hyperdocs, but not necessarily with students. Maybe you personally have used it. And then the last one, of course, would be you're super comfortable. You've made your own Hyperdocs before, okay? And
all right, so we have a lot coming in, a lot of people saying uncomfortable, beginner, nervous. We have some people saying they're nervous, overwhelmed.
Oh, that we can do it in the, even though I do want to hear that information. Go to the Mentimeter. Sorry, oh, that was the one problem with that facilitation, huh? Is that it didn't keep that on the screen so you can have the code. Okay, how about, sorry, this is also the first time I've done a presentation. So if at any point you don't have a piece of information that you need because I'm getting way too excited and talking, let me know, pause me so you can get that piece of information. Because 1, this is so cool. I have over 100 people. Like if I was in a regular classroom, there'd only be able to be like 30, 40 of you if we're in a regular, like normal times, not COVID. So this is like super amazing. Where do I?
And then we have a question, Anna, what is Mentimeter?
What is Mentimeter? Oh, good question. Mentimeter is if I can get over here, is a lovely little website that, oh yeah, there's all of our stuff. Okay, is a lovely little website that essentially you can get a lot of polling done with it. So for free, I could do 2 slides. But if you wanted to use it for, you get the subscription and then you get like unlimited access and all that loveliness. That's why we have 2 questions, is because that's how much was free. But yeah, so let's see, what are people saying? So they're anxious. Yes, me too. Nervous, uncertain, apprehensive. We've changed schools. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, there's a number in there. Maybe that was my number. Oh, the number that's there. All of that. Okay, as you guys are working, overwhelmed. Yes, quote, totally. And hopefully I can relieve some of that overwhelmness a little bit. Let's see, what was our other question? Oh, no one has moved on to the other question yet. Are you able to? Oh, you are. Ooh, a lot of us are uncomfortable. Oh, we're changing. Okay, cool. This is so much fun. Real-time answers, which obviously, once again, like, this is something you guys can use with your students, which is exciting too. Okay, let's go back to our words. Ooh, we're excited. Yes, I'm kind of excited too. Like, having this online format is very, it's different, but it also gives us a lot more avenues for change, which sometimes it's good to change it up every once in a while. Okay, let's see, how do I even see the, it's very different in presentation mode. Okay, cool. Let's go back over here. We are uncomfortable. Sweet, I will help you become comfortable, somewhat comfortable. We used other people's, and sweet, everyone is in the right spot, because I don't know what I would do with my super comfortable peoples. So that is awesome. Let's go back to the presentation. If you wanted to keep replying in that is a-okay, but I'm gonna keep going. Okay, the bit.ly for this is on the website, so if you need that bit.ly, go ahead and grab that from the website, or it is of course right here for you as well. And if I can have my lovely monitor put that into the chat for me every once in a while, that would be super awesome. So it's just the bit.ly hyper Riz, which is me, is Riz, and 2020. So let's present. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am Ann Rizzacasa, AKA Miss Riz is what the kids call me at school. I am a science teacher at Tockwitz High School. This is my 8th year going into teaching. I have taught pretty much, if it's a life science, I've taught it. So all the biology levels, environmental science, and a little bit of engineering in there on the side. I have been biology lead, RCD design, and digital tech leads. And so I am super excited about talking to you guys about this stuff. Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter or just connect with me, is Ann Rizzi. And then of course my email, let's connect. If you have any questions, if you want to collaborate, anything like that, there is my email, arizzacasa@hemetusd.org. Okay. Next part. Okay, so let's talk about Hyperdocs. So how can Hyperdocs actually help with your distance learning? So what is a Hyperdoc? A lot of you are super uncomfortable with that term. So it's pretty much any document, any PowerPoint, any drawing that has hyperlinks in it. That's what the Hyperdocs come from, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a document. And those lead students to their assignment, their resource, whatever you want to lead them to, okay? In this digital age, we're more of a curator of learning than anything else. So it's a well-designed Hyperdoc is more than just an online worksheet. Of course, you could make it essentially an online worksheet because sometimes we need that, but it's actually better designed than that. So a well-designed one is I'm trying to like talk with my hands, you can't even see it, but that's okay. Maybe that's better, you can't see my hands. Anyway, when designed, it is a self-contained integrated study. If you click on, so I made my presentation also a Hyperdoc. So obviously you can't click on it on my screen, on your presentation screen, but if you have another copy of it on another, either on another device or on another tab, if you click on our lovely tool over here for measurement, which is super familiar to all of us, then you get a lovely evaluation tool. Yay. So you could evaluate, okay, how am I making this Hyperdoc? Am I making it a high level one? Or maybe look at someone else's, ooh, it's not quite as high level as I'd like it to be. Okay, here are the parts that I'm going to add into someone else's template that I borrowed, right? So we click on that, loveliness, and I'm not going to, just in case it makes me shut down or anything, but that tool is there and ready for you. Okay, so the organization of the lovely Hyperdocs, you can do them multiple different ways. So there are daily announcements you could do just a lesson in Hyperdocs. You could do a whole entire unit with Hyperdocs. Really, your imagination, your creativity is the limit, okay? But I also caution that we can be all creative, but not necessarily our students will follow the way that we think, which is what I found because I like to get really creative with my Hyperdocs. So I'll give you the ins and outs of what I've learned so far with my Hyperdoc making. Okay, so first, there's the lovely classroom Bitmoji Hyperdoc, right? So you could, and this is my lovely one that I made, you could have a daily agenda. You could have a to-do list for all of your kids. You could have reminders. You could have a little video. Okay, there's a video right here. You could have different resources for your Bitmoji classroom. I saw that there was another presentation that was talking about how to make a Bitmoji classroom so it looks like you. And that part is it's really cool for students to really be able to connect with you, especially since they haven't seen you in real life, which is kind of sad. Also, when it was previously distance learning, I made it so that there are components that were actually in my classroom as well. So if you were to step into my real life classroom, you would see this poster. If you'd step into my real life classroom, you would see desks that look like this. Not necessarily that laptop, but that's okay, that's fine. So once again, these are hyperlinks as well. If you click on these, you'll find fun memes, yay. And oh, let's hear from myself. Or you can do a lesson just like normal, but in a video and point out, oh, hey, there's, whoops, other direction. Hey, there's Hagrid's hut. And look, there's some nice pumpkin patches or something like that, or whatever you may be teaching as well. Thank you, Anne. She's so smart. Okay. So you could do a video of yourself because or you do your regular lecture, except you're on a video. Okay. What else to add to this? Oh, you could have resources. So let's say I had a clock right here and I wanted the students to have a certain amount of time. Well, they could have a link to a certain amount of time, 5 minutes to work on something, and then the YouTube for the 5-minute video is going at the same time as they're working on the assignment that you gave them the link for. Cool. Or you say, oh, because I am a science person that loves parody videos, and to the point that the students get annoyed with me, hey guys, click on the laptop, it will bring you to a parody video. No, real teachers, you could do it. You might want to listen to me first, but yeah, parody video is there. What else? So pretty much any resources you could have in there. Of course, you probably want to have actual signs for the students to click on it. I just think it's fun to have little mystery Easter eggs throughout the entire presentation. So that's why I did it that way. Okay. Oh, if you have a question on how to make the Bitmoji classroom yourself, there is a resource in my resources page at the very end. And I put a link to the one that I like the best. Okay. Did I go over everything that I wanted to for this slide? Yes, I did. Cool. Okay, so that was an example of daily announcements that you could do, how to talk to the students every day. Here's one that's more of just a lesson. Okay, so the lesson is the Amazon is on fire. It's more of a focus on the Amazon being on fire and climate change, and pretty much something that I would teach at the end of the year, which is why I made that. If you click on this lovely link right here, it will give you the entire PowerPoint presentation. The links may or may not work. I didn't make them for broad use, but you can still see the format of it, which is really what you're about. If you are a biology teacher and you're like, oh my gosh, I so want to use exactly this, cool, I'll send you all the links. I'll make it all reusable and all that stuff. I think it's just linked to my Google Classroom kids right now, pretty sure. Anyway, so what you do, it's pretty much a regular PowerPoint presentation. Like, the kids are super familiar with this format. They didn't feel overwhelmed by it or anything like that. The only thing that was different for them is that instead they had these little icons that they needed to follow. So I still wanted them to take Cornell notes because that's a thing at our school. They needed to attach pictures of that to the Google Classroom to turn it in. I wanted them to try to use Cam Scanner. That was not really as effective as I was hoping it would be, but we'll work on it for next year. Or any similar apps to see the notes really clearly. And so I have this icon for them, like here, this is the icon that says you need to take notes on this slide, okay? And then I said, oh, if there's an activity, okay, here is the icon that they need to do an activity on this slide, okay? And then, oh, betas. So for my students, I have, you have those like honors kids that are super into doing all of the things, right? And so I had students sign up to be called beta testers, and they loved it. And so they would give me feedback on how things are working, if they felt overwhelmed by something, if they didn't understand something, and then they became that elite club type of vibe, which is really cool for essentially, building self-esteem and all that loveliness. About, okay, now you get that feedback too, like, oh shoot, I need to change blah, 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 because some students are just not comfortable with doing that, okay? And so I got a lot of feedback back from my beta testers more than anything else. Okay, so what did the rest of it look like? So I had them do a little Hyperdoc all of it is Hyperdoc essentially. So I had all the objectives right here and say, oh, hey, that is an activity. And so they, oh, where's my link? There's my link. I need to click on that. And then they're going to self-assess whether they are A-okay with all the different objectives, okay? Next one was, okay, what are the standards? For me, like, I need to make the standards much more clear for them. Eventually I'll get to using their language, but right now it's just a copy and paste. And so I just wanted them to write them down, be aware of the standards. Next was a little video by ABC News, the Amazon is on fire, talking about a farmer in specific, kind of getting the hook in there. And then the next part was, okay, causes and effects of the rainforest. On the actual one, it clicks, oh, actually, I think I did make that a Hyperdoc. I did. It will tell you to make a copy because I love the forced copy so that nothing gets messed up. And essentially, I gave them this loveliness where I gave them kind of the answers, sort of, but I told them to rearrange it like this, okay? And to me, that was obvious. I got a lot of interesting answers, but they still showed that they were really thinking about the concepts. So I was like, ooh, that's cool to like figure out their own learning. And then of course I had them write a little summary about the causes and effects. So then that's where the true learning was happening anyway, and how they're applying their own knowledge. So that was really cool. I really like that. And I'll probably do that part again. Now I need to get back to my other presentation. There we go. Cool. Okay. Then here's an example of a slide that I was like, hey, just take notes on this one. It has the, can we stop the cycle, all that like cool biology information. And then of course there's the check for understanding, and you can put a link to a little quiz to see, okay, are they understanding this material? Are they not? Maybe I need to go back and give them some tips and tricks or something like that. Another tip that I just learned, because I've been doing a bajillion PD things, is that when you put the raw form of the link and you have someone that is like has to have it read to them, so any of the kids with IEPs that can't necessarily see the screen, it says every single letter. So it's actually nicer for them if you were to make a hyperlink that says something like quiz link or something like that. Okay, so that's a little accessibility tip that I learned. So I need to go back and change some of those.
And someone wanted to know if you have a list of what your icons are.
What about my icons? Sorry.
Do you have a list of what your icons are?
A list of my icons. Oh, I just used the 2 for right now. So the icons are the take notes and the activity. And those are my only icons at the moment. Where I found them is Ditch My Textbook. Matt Miller, if you guys have heard of him, he's super cool. And so I've pretty much gone through, and he lets you have like lots of templates and lots of resources. And so that's where I found these icons for my students. And there are some links at the in my resources page as well to some of Matt Miller's resources. Okay, so we talked about this. Cool beans. Okay. Cool. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to add about this. Okay. So one thing we talked about, that this is an easy structure for the kids to follow. They're pretty familiar with regular PowerPoints. One thing that I found, because my kids were not held as accountable, is that they didn't want to take the notes and they went through and just did all the activities. Okay, learning is still happening. So that was a positive. And so hopefully the whole system will be awesome and that piece won't happen. So I won't have to worry about that quite so much. Another part, students said that they really enjoyed all the activities. So that's cool. And then the other part that I got back from students is that one of my honors kids, because they like to do everything all at once, right, is that she was super overwhelmed by all the things that she needed to do, because this isn't even the whole entire PowerPoint presentation. I think it's about 20 slides long or something like that. This is just a sample of it. And so what I found is like, oh, I need to give them a calendar to do ahead of time. Okay, and so in that calendar, then they'll be able to follow the calendar, be like, okay, so this is about 1 hour's worth of work. Sweet, this is a class period. Okay, and so that maybe my lessons will take about 3 class periods. That's fine, that's cool. They're doing the learning and they're doing the applying. So we expect that it would be more than just 1 class period to get through a PowerPoint anyway. Okay. Oh, and other thing that I wanted to add to this one, if you are a biology teacher and you're like, oh yes, I want to use this. My assessment piece is super weak because I assumed that the kids weren't going to do much with it. And it was kind of just like a beta testing material. So assessment piece, I would totally make a much stronger, like project-based something. What? I'm not quite sure yet. Didn't develop it yet. Okay, links to external programs. So what programs can you link it to? There are a bajillion ones. I know I have some elementary teachers as well. Sorry, I don't have like your favorite ones here because I'm not as familiar with them. I heard of Seesaw, that's about it. But you know what apps you love the most for the students to use, and those are the ones that you can link in here. So my favorites are Google Docs, Google Draw, Newsela, YouTube. Edpuzzle is my absolute favorite. You guys don't know about Edpuzzle, you need to know about Edpuzzle. It's essentially a program where on the website it has any video and you can make the video stop and the kids are answering questions as they are watching the video. It is the best thing ever. And then Edpuzzle, also you can upload your own videos. So let's say I wanted to quiz you on what I am saying right now. I could upload that video and then make the kids answer questions as I am talking. Okay, so that is super crazy cool. Adobe Spark is a future one that I'm going to start hopefully using with my students and making them make videos. Ooh, another one in there is Flipgrid. I love Flipgrid. That's for students to be making videos, and it's safe and not like, I don't think YouTube is as safe. I don't know. It's not as educational friendly. And then there's much more things to use depending upon your subject and your student population. Okay, so here is an example of a unit that I did. So at this point, we had already done the basics of genetics. And so I wanted them to really engage with it because they seemed really bored with just the basics, which was mind blowing to me because I love genetics. So what we did is we did a little pre-activity to like introduce them into how DNA is actually looked at in a forensic standpoint. They read an article, answered comprehension questions, did an Edpuzzle, and then we listened to a video, which is super kind of scary. It scared a few of them. That was about the hunt for the Golden State Killer, if you guys know that. And then from there, they were able to do a little CER template. So if you want, I think all of these links are clickable on your own. If you have any issues, let me know. I'll try to fix it. And so you can see what the CER template looks like for them in that case. And then from there, so they did a writing prompt, and then from that writing prompt, then they did an actual Flipgrid response. So they had to not only write about it, but also talk about what they have learned about forensics and DNA. So now they're applying what they know about DNA to a real life example. Okay, and so that was more of a, let's say a 2/3 of my unit all there. Now the really cool part about this in the real life situation of a classroom is that essentially you get to direct the kids to this one page over and over and over again. So if they are absent, sweet, go to this page. Okay, if they had sports, if they had to go practice for band, whatever it is, okay, I'm not shuffling a bajillion papers and interrupting the class. Me or another student can say, hey, go to this page. We got step 1, step 2, step 3, okay? And it's super easy peasy. The only downfall to this is that sometimes the students forgot what step they were on because certain students go at different paces. And so I was presenting, let's say step 2, and the student wasn't there for step 1. Okay, and so that was the one downfall. I think next time I might put dates onto it to make it more clear and for the students. But otherwise, they liked it for the most part. They thought it was really cool. Oh, Flipgrid. When it comes to Flipgrid, I would start off your students with not having to show their face, okay? Now, in a 100% online setting, that might be a little different, but they are much more comfortable not showing their face first and then kind of ease them into showing their faces because, I mean, we can look at our population right now. How many of you guys are showing your faces and feel comfortable with that right now, okay? And so it's gonna be the same for our students, okay?
And someone wanted to know if
yeah.
Your Edpuzzle video is private once you make it.
Is my Edpuzzle video private? Yes, I believe so, because the way I make the videos for Edpuzzle is that I use Screencastify, and on Screencastify, it just downloads to my drive because everything is Google for me. So it goes to my drive, and so then it belongs to me, and then I go and put it into Edpuzzle, and in Edpuzzle, it only goes to the students that I assigned it to, which is just a certain class. So it should be private. I think so. Okay. Are there any other questions before I keep going and going and going?
I think that was the only one. Yeah.
No, we're good.
Someone said, did you already comment on idea strategies for early finishers? She joined late, so she wasn't sure if you commented on that.
Oh, early finishers. That I am not so strong on that that piece. And so I usually use the early finishers as tutors for the other students. A lot of the time I find that some students like just don't know where to click, or they're afraid to where to click. But now in this setting, that is a good question on what I would do with the early finishers. So I will think on that. That is a good thing. And if anyone has like, oh, I know what to do, sweet, put it in the chat for everyone else. Okay, this is my first Hyperdoc, evidence for evolution. I have once again the standard on there. And then to me, this is definitely not a 100% online format. This is a in the classroom format thing. For me, it was super cool. It was super like, oh yeah, students are totally gonna get to know what to do. They gotta click on fossils, then they gotta click on this one, and then they gotta click on this one. Duh, what else, what other order would they go in? Yeah, so students don't always think the way that you do, and you got to account for that. And so next time if I was going to do it, I'd be like, hey, this is day 1 is fossils, day 2 is homologous structures, and so on and so forth. So just keep that in mind when you're making your hyperlinks and hyperdocs and all that loveliness, is that they don't necessarily think the same way that we do. Okay. And then also, it's okay, be brave. Like, there are going to be spots where people are going to get stuck, and you just got to be like, okay, sweet, awesome, I'm going to fix that, because there's always one link that you forgot to share out, and you just got to fix it and let everyone know that now it's shareable, which I'm sure some of my links are going to be exactly that, and I'll just fix it. Okay. Okay, so now I have given you all these ideas. Now it is time for a little bit of a breakout session. Okay, and so your question during this breakout is, what is your first lesson or first unit of the school year? And how would you create a hyperdoc to support that distance learning? Okay, so let's say I'm going to start making one right now. What would it be? Okay, and so we're going to have you guys break out into rooms of 4 people so that you're comfortable talking. Please do talk to your neighbors about it and do a little brainstorming, and then we'll bring you back in about 5 minutes or so. If we need more time than that, sweet, then we'll add the time. Okay. Okay, Miss Melinda.
All right,
Break them
let's
out.
get that going.
I always look to you. It's low key like.
Oh, I'm in one. Sweet.
Yes, and or am I in your room, Anne? All right, so we should all be coming back into the main room. And Anne, I think you have to share your screen. Also, Anne, you are on mute.
Unmute me. There we go. Okay. Hopefully you guys had some awesome conversations. I'm sorry if you got put in a room by yourself. Some people got really shy and decided to just be like, oh no, I can't talk to other people. Hopefully that was productive for some of you guys. So going on from there, let's try out some of our skills. Okay, so some of you said you're super uncomfortable, like, oh my gosh, she's talking about all these links. How do I make this link in the first place? Okay, so here's the deal that I found with doing lots of conferences and stuff, and maybe you guys have at this point too, is that if you're on a Chromebook and you are watching a video, usually you can't do much anything else other than watch that video. Okay, so I would say if you're going to try this out, try it on a different device. If you're on a PC, you should be fine. You're good. Or a Mac, then you're fine. So best on a separate device, depending upon what your device is. You might even want to do this for homework. So you want to maybe use this template, jot down ideas for your first lesson. So how do we do this? We're clicking on here and it's going there to the template. Okay, and then we have our lovely, well, 3 E's, right? Or not even E's. Okay, we have our lovely explore. Okay, students start with exploring. They're going to explain something, or you're going to explain something. Okay, and then they're going to apply their knowledge. Okay, and so then it's their task, task and task for each of those. Okay, and so this is super basic. If you were to Google Hyperdocs, and I believe I have the link in the resources for you guys as well. Google Hyperdocs, the first link comes to the Hyperdocs, like the ladies made it page, and they have all of these templates, and there's a lot more that is based for elementary. So if you're that elementary teacher and you're like, oh, all that cool stuff was cool, but what's for the littles? Go over there. There's a lot more stuff for elementary over there. What was I gonna, I was gonna show you guys. Okay, so here's the template. How have I made it? So when it was pre-COVID and the students were with me in person, I used this template and I did it for a PTC taste lab. Okay, and so they were tasked with reading an article. Writing their answers in a different font is a really good tip, so that you can really quickly see whether they have actually answered the question or not. They did an experiment with me, so they put the PTC taster strip on their tongues, and then we did a bar graph. We recreated it with Post-its. In this case, maybe I would use Jamboard and have them still do that same Post-it activity, except with Jamboard instead. And then last but not least, I had them write a little paragraph. Okay, so I had them observe any trends or correlations and explain what happened. And so a lot of them talk about their experience and then the trends that we talked about in class. Okay, and so that is a way that I use the super simple hyperlink, and this is essentially like it's a little bit of a worksheety, okay, because the kids are literally typing into it, but it's also a different format. So once again, let the technology suit your needs versus just using cool tech to use cool tech. Okay. Okay, so going back to over here. So some of you guys are like, whoa, how do I even make a hyperlink? Okay, and so how to make a hyperlink, you pretty much do Control K is the shortcut, and you can do any hyperlink that you want. Okay, so let's say I am in my template and I want to, it's hard to do things. Let's do it this way. And I want to put a link to, let's see, what's something fun, to dogs. Okay, and oh my gosh, that is cute. Okay, so sweet, cute dogs.
They're known as
They're awesome. Okay, and I want a dog link because everyone loves their dogs. So we're gonna copy that lovely link. And so that is now copied for me. And I'm gonna go back over to my template. Here we go, my template. And I want them to, I don't know, explore dogs or something, right? And oh, I need to edit it, right? File, new, not new document. No, blah, blah, blah. Make a copy. I'm making a copy, okay. Yay, there we go. I'm making a copy and I'm gonna say, instead of all this text right here, I want to put a link when they click on it, right? So then I'm going to press Control K, and then this little thing is gonna come up, okay? And then say, what link do you want to put in there? Okay, and then I'm gonna do Control V to paste it in there, and then just apply, okay? So once again, it was just selecting the text, whatever it may be. I'm gonna do Control K and Control V and say apply. And once again, that's the link, okay? And so that can be a link to anything. Oh yeah, oh, we are getting close on time. Oh shoot. Okay, wait, back to the regular presentation. Okay, oh, hey, it's just my sweet resources. Okay, so if you have any, you want copies of anything, have questions, interested in collaborating, please email me. Here's all the really awesome resources that I have found through making this presentation for you guys. And hopefully you learned something.
Someone has a question. Before I copy the link, should I underscore pop up so I don't get all the extra stuff on YouTube?
Underscore pop-ups? There's an add-on that makes sure that there isn't any ads. So I would put that that add-on to your Chrome, so there isn't any ads coming up when students are viewing things.
All right, guys, and I just wanted to ask you guys, thank you for coming, and then if you guys would go
What
to
that
the
is?
thread, and oh, it's just for them to leave feedback on today's sessions. So if they go to the SCED, they would be able to leave feedback on all the sessions they attended today.
Yeah. So if you go to Chrome extensions and you just say ad blocker, it'll be on there. I'm not quite sure what it's called for the chat conversation in there. Thank you for coming. This is super cool.
Thank you, everyone. Right. I don't know why my thing is not. What's happening?